Welcome, everybody, to another case of the Mondays, the weekly live stream for the Salty Nerd podcast, where I try to relieve you of your Monday blues. I am joined today by a special guest, but before we get into that, I'm going to do my normal little spiel, where I'm going to sell you guys on our club membership. If you guys want more of our awesome content that we make for you guys, go to saltynerdclub.com. That is where we are going to be our most raw, unfiltered selves. We do 4 exclusive episodes per month for our members, and it's a huge value, guys. You have a giant backlog of content. With the past 2 years or so, we've been building our Patreon-only members content and stuff like that. So it's a great value, and we love making our stuff. We've gained about 10 or so new patrons just in the last couple of weeks, which is fantastic. Our community is growing, and we truly appreciate that. So if you want to join in, go to saltynerdclub.com, join the membership. You get exclusive access to our Discord app, and you can join the community over there where we do live streams, watch parties, video games. We talk about all the TV shows and movies that you want. We have a ton of fun on our Discord server, so hop in over there. And we would really, really, truly appreciate the help. The more people that we get to join up, the more content that we can make. And it's our main goal is to be able to provide that entertainment for you guys, that escapism that we all miss and need these days, especially with the way the world is. So that's our goal, guys. Go to saltynerdclub.com and help support the podcast. Okay, my guest today, enough of my nonsense. The guest today is Kelly, a.k.a. Lunyr Girl from Sidebar Cantina. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. I am enjoying my Monday. My Monday is actually my day off of my real job.
Nice.
So it's a house errand and homeschooling day for me. And then I get to do this and goof around with some nerds at night while the kids are sleeping. So Mondays are pretty good.
I hear ya. Everybody survived the great Facebook blackout of 2021.
I don't use Facebook.
Neither do I. I hate it.
I didn't miss it. I was a little bit of me was hoping that it would just disappear forever. And I'm like, oh, somebody hacked the source code and deleted it from the world. But I do use Instagram quite a bit. And I've been trying to build my Instagram following and make sure I'm doing stories and reels and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was kind of bummed about that because today also, like on my spare time, I was going to put out some Instagram content and then it was down. I was like, oh, okay. So I just put the phone down and what I had to do. But it's been a good day. Did you survive it? Because I know you have a pretty decent following on Instagram, which I was like, dang, these guys know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, I love our Instagram followers. I was kind of like, what do I do? I do the Instagram. I just picked up Twitter a couple months ago. It's not really for me, but I'll throw some posts up there once in a while.
Yeah.
But Instagram is where it's at. And, I had all these plans on it's Monday. Let's start the week. I want to do this post, that post, this post, everything that I wrote about over the weekend. And then it's like, now what do I do? I did some chores, bake some cookies.
Oh, that's awesome.
I hate baking.
You hate baking? Oh,
I hate baking. But cyber school snack for the Padawan. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I actually I've learned to appreciate baking a little bit more recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's because I'm getting old, maybe because I'm in my 30s now, and it's like I get to bake things. But my wife learned how to make sourdough bread.
Oh,
I've watched her do the process, and I'm like, I need to try that because that seems so fulfilling when you get those nice loaves out of the oven. It's just great, but.
With the beautiful cracks on top.
Yes. And it tastes so good. It's amazing. So for me, baking is one of those things where like, if I ever have the spare time that I would really want to have, it's going to be one of those things that I'm going to build that skill. Because I feel like it's an important skill that people don't really have these days.
I think so too, especially when we finally do get that EMP and there is no more internet.
Exactly. I'm going to be in my backyard building like a pizza oven out of mud and like baking bread.
There you go. I'm going to go to the river and go fishing, maybe the hubby can make the bread.
Are you guys a bit of you have a bit of a survivalist in you? Are you guys into the outside stuff?
I think I do have a bit of a survivalist in me. I live in the Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
We're about a mile and a half away from a small rural town, but we're surrounded on all sides by woods. So you kind of have to. I was a Girl Scout, I was a Girl Scout leader because my Padawans are slightly older than your Padawans, 23 and 17. So I was a
Okay.
Girl Scout leader for many years. And, I know a few things.
Right on. I actually, I have a lot of family, and I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah?
Not quite as far north as the Poconos. I was a little bit farther south, near
Yeah.
like York and
Okay.
gosh, what's the freaking name? I was born in Gettysburg and
Mhm.
raised in. Gosh, how can I not remember my hometown? Holy crap!
Getting old, man.
It's like
It
Harrisburg
happens.
I think it's Harrisburg. I think that's what it was.
Harrisburg, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm a big time outdoors person. So there's a
Yeah.
little part of me. There's a little tiny part of me that
Mhm.
says, you know what? I'm ready. Just let
Let
it
it all
end.
go down.
Let it all go down.
Where's
I'll
the
go,
EMP?
I'll go camping.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Exactly. We'll be fine.
These city people don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
That's hilarious. Anyway,
Mhm.
so to get to the actual show today, thank you. We
Yeah.
have 12 people in the chat. Right on, guys. Welcome, everybody.
Awesome. I
Thank
see
you so
some
much for stopping by.
friends. Hi, friends.
Fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. So what I wanted to ask you, because I'm not super
Mhm.
familiar, I know we both kind of we dive into the Red 5 network. We are part of
Yeah.
the same network,
Mhm.
but I have not had a chance to check out your content. So I wanted to get your story. Where'd they come from? Who instigated the whole, like, let's make our own content? And how did you get involved? So take it away. How did that all
Absolutely.
happen?
Well, once upon a time, there was a Mr. Jason Roscom who joined the Air Force and relocated from California all the way to New Jersey. While he was in the Air Force, he met Dave Martin, who comes from Philadelphia, also stationed in Jersey.
Okay.
And they both discovered that they had the same likes, especially when it came to Star Wars. Their first podcast they started together about 4 years ago, the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
4 years. Wow.
4 years. But after 4 years, they discovered we don't have much content left that we haven't already discussed. So they rebranded into a Gen X point of view.
Okay.
We're all middle-aged Gen Xers now. And, especially last year with COVID, everybody kind of, let's go back to basics, go back to our roots. Let's talk about the 80s, everything that we grew up with, the movies that made us. But then they kind of missed the Star Wars, They always had this Facebook page called the Sidebar Cantina. And whenever they go off on a tangent, they always say sidebar.
Yeah.
So it was just right that they finally, their final rebranding was the Sidebar Cantina, which incorporates all their love of Gen X, pop culture, music and movies that made us, the fads that we grew up with, video games, and Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
We're getting comments. So that you mentioned Gen X, which I identify a lot with the Gen X generation.
Mhm.
I think what they call an elder millennial. So I was born in that
Yes.
in between time where I remember not having a cell phone. I
Mhm.
remember not having social media. I remember burning
Mm.
discs on my computer. I remember all that stuff, but I
Yeah.
also grew up mostly with the new age things, MySpace and Facebook and all this other stuff.
Right.
So I'm in that in between spot where I'm like, I agree with the Gen Xers on like 99% of the stuff, but then there's a couple
Right.
references. There's references that you guys make that go over my head sometimes, and that's what shows my real age.
I actually watched an episode today. I finally got caught up on your mythology episode, and when everybody else was talking about the original Clash of the Titans, I'm like, yeah. And you're like, oh, I never saw that one.
Yeah.
You gotta
that
see
was
it.
if that's one of your first episodes that you saw of us, that was a pretty. We said some things.
Oh, I've been following you guys personally. I've been
Okay.
following you guys for months now, but
Oh, right on.
I missed that episode, so I went back
Yeah.
and watched it today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we
Yeah.
get in trouble sometimes. There's times where I'm like, am I supposed to be saying this kind of stuff online? Like, this is. Oh, we'll find out.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so you guys do like a grab bag. You do all things 80s, all things pop culture. Do you
Yeah.
dive into politics, or do you guys kind of leave that aside and allow that escapism to kind of take place?
Well, every once in a while, because Dave and Jason are airmen. Dave is actually retired airman now, but he still works in the private sector. Jason is still, oh my gosh, it just popped right out of my head. He's Air Force Reserve.
Okay.
They both work on base every single day. So it's kind of hard not to bring up politics every once in a while because politics is, they're everything that affects them in life. It affects their jobs, their family, so they do dive into it once in a while. I believe the last political episode they had was on 9/11, and it was hard for them not to discuss how everything that went down in Afghanistan at the end of August, how that was affecting them 20 years later when 9/11 is what started the whole, current war in Afghanistan. So every once in a while they'll talk about it.
So they had this kind of brand already established and they were working on their stuff. When did you come in and how did you get involved?
I first started watching them December of 2019. Big Star Wars fan. Born in New York City, grew up in the country, in the Poconos. There was actually a guy that I grew up with, known him since the first grade, who actually moved down to Philadelphia because he was active Air Force Reserve. Worked with these guys for years. And then finally, right around December, I think it was when the first Mandalorian season was coming out. He's like, you've got to watch these guys. They have a live chat. I'm there every single week. I'm like, okay, what else am I going to do? So I started watching them instantly. When you're a nerd and you finally find your people, like they were my people, and instantly loved them, instant fan, followed them ever since. I think it was around February of this past year, they approached me and said, we work all the time. We can't do anything on social media. You love being on social media because I'm a, stay-at-home housewife mom. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like something I want to get in on. So I'm the third member of the Sidebar Cantina, but I like to hang out in the background.
You're like a producer.
Yeah, well, in a way, they call me their social media director.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's what I would call me, but I just love being a part of it. I never really wanted to be in front of the camera, and it wasn't until I met Olive Red 5 that I really started doing shows here and there.
Okay. You getting more comfortable with it?
I actually am. I've guested on at least a half dozen podcasts now, and I actually have the Sidebar Cantina. We have a fantasy football league, sports ball, yay sports ball. Always been a tomboy. I love football. Okay. Can't help it. Love football. Every Wednesday, the Escape Pod guys, Don and Brady, they started a podcast for our Sidebar Cantina Fantasy League a couple years ago called The Booth in the Back. And this year they approached me and asked me to be their third co-host. And I love it. So now I kind of have my own podcast on a little tiny niche. So I'm kind of enjoying it.
The thing about niche or niche, I don't know, whatever you want to say, but
whatever.
It doesn't, I don't know. Tomato.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm finding as we're trying to grow our podcast and we're trying to expand a little bit and get in front of more eyes is it feels like you can have either two things, unless you're like super fortunate. You can have a lot of viewers who are kind of passionate about your stuff. They'll watch you, they'll hit the thumbs up, and then they'll bounce and go do something else. Or you can have a small group of really, really awesome people who you get to interact with on a regular basis, who, eventually become patrons and stuff like that. And that really, I feel like that to me is the more rewarding side of things of being a small channel, a small content creator. And I really like that. And I like to be able to encourage people, like, if you're interested in doing your own stuff, if you have this idea in your head, like, oh, I wish I could make my own content, just go do it. Just go do it. Put your voice out there and see what happens. And you meet a lot of really helpful people. And
yes,
you never know. You never know where it can go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the family, especially the Red 5, like the Red 5 network is huge now. I think there's so many more people in it now than I can even keep track of.
So many. I think there's 30 some podcasts now.
Something like that, yeah.
And I talk to at least half of them on a daily basis. We all have coffee in the Red 5 Twitter thread every day.
Yeah.
So they're amazing. I found my people with the Sidebar Cantina, and Don and Brady with the Escape Pod, and Scott and Kim with the Used and Abused, and all of their followers. We all kind of became like this little family.
Mm-hmm.
And then one by one, all three of our podcasts got accepted into Red 5. And now we have this like huge Italian family, but they're all nerds and geeks, they're all your people. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I'm really happy for Ro. I got to know him early on. I think I was one of the the Salty Nerd podcast was one of the first Red 5 Network podcasts, and he approached me with this idea. He's like, hey, I've got this idea. I want to build like a nice network of fellow content creators. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm in, whatever. And I just was like, okay, Ro, you're going to go do your thing. That's cool. And then it blew up, and I was like, holy crap, there's freaking how many people?
Yeah, right.
And he texted me every once in a while. He's like, hey, man, we just added like 5 new members. And I'm like, geez, dude, what the heck? So I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think people who like are just kind of on the questioning of whether or not they want to make their own stuff, I say just go do it, man. Just go. And there's billions of people in the world. You'll get somebody to listen to your stuff.
Exactly. And the people who don't like your show, you don't want those people as your people anyway, because they're not your people.
Everybody's got different taste. Everybody has different taste. And I mean, our show is very rated R. It's very raunchy. We get drunk. We talk.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and some people really love that, and other people are like, you know what, this is a bit much for me, and I get it, and that's fine.
Dave and Jason, they're kind of they're rated R.
Right on.
They're definitely rated R. We drop F-bombs left and right, so.
Right on.
Fun times.
Yeah, it's really great. If anybody's out there, I truly do encourage people to go check out or start a podcast. It's not difficult. You can do it fairly cheap these days. And,
you can do it from your cell phone.
Yeah, you can do it from your cell phone. I would encourage. I think I started on my cell phone. I think one of my first episodes, I recorded it with my headphones with just the microphone like that. And we've progressed to the point now where I have these fancy stuff and that are nice. You slowly build your way up, but you have to start somewhere, and it's cool. Like when I first started, for me, I wanted to find that escapism again, because a lot of the content that I was listening to, whether it was like Collider Video or whoever else, I was listening to them, and it would get real weird at times, and they weren't really talking about movies anymore, and they were pushing more agendas, and they were talking about politics, and I didn't really want to get involved in that. Yeah, and like if you're up front with people and you say, hey, this episode's going to be very political. If you're not interested in that, move on, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you can say that. But for the videos that I was watching and the podcast that I was listening to, they would go in saying, oh, we're going to talk about this movie today, and then it would end up being like a political discussion.
Yeah.
So I had to like transition. I'm like, I need to make my own stuff because I miss that escapism, and I think it's important for people. And I like that about the Red 5 Network is a lot of the people out there who just like, I just want to escape. I just want to be a nerd for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about the outside world, and I think that's really, really important these days, especially. So
I completely agree.
I love listening to people talk about that kind of stuff and sharing their passion. Speaking of which, we have a new series to talk about for Disney Plus put out their Japanese inspired Star Wars stories, which I'm sure you've watched, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I watched them. I think it was the first day that came out. I downloaded them on my phone and I was watching them as I was working, and then I went home and watched a couple. So yeah. What are your general thoughts on this little experiment that Lucasfilm is putting out there?
You know what? I liked it. I know it's not canon. And as long as I kept that in the back of my head, it's not canon. You don't have to tie it into anything that's already happened. Just go in with an open mind. I don't have a huge anime background, but there's a few animes that I like. Death Note is probably my favorite. Really like that one. But I also love art. I was that art geek in high school, sitting in the back of the art room during a study hall because I just didn't feel like being around anybody, So this to me was wonderful. 9 different styles of writing, 9 different styles of artwork. I loved it.
That's great. Do you have a favorite episode? Do you remember which one? I have them in front of me, so if you just tell me like which one, I can tell you the title of it at least.
Absolutely. I remember. I think it's called The Ninth Jedi.
Okay. Yep.
And I want to say her name was Kira or Kara. Kira?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Her father made lightsabers, but this was in the time of the Empire, so he had to do it secretly, but he got caught. And right before he was executed, I think he was executed. Gen X brain.
It's been a minute.
It's been a whole week.
Yeah.
But he gave all of the lightsabers he made to his daughter and said to go bring him to the temple. She brought all of the lightsabers to the temple where there were Jedi waiting because they got some kind of a notice that a message that lightsabers were coming. And when they all got there and she distributed all the lightsabers and they turned them on, all but one of them were red. They were all Sith except for one guy. So I really thought that was neat.
Yeah, there's things that they did. I think they took some liberties with the canon, which is fine because it's like you said, it doesn't have really an effect on the overall saga.
Yeah.
But like the whole each Jedi, as soon as they come in contact with the lightsaber, it turns the color that represents them.
Yeah.
That is an interesting concept. I don't know how accurate it is to modern day Lucasfilm. I know old school Star Wars. For me, is original trilogy, that kind of lore. I know it's changed since then, so I might be a little off, but I did think that was really cool how the young girl had this weird colored. It was not quite black, but it was kind of transparent.
Yeah, it was almost like Death Saber, but Dark Saber. But
I really like that. I like that idea, and it was cool to kind of see her come into her own and fight off the Sith, and the whole espionage thing where the guy who called them all there was in the robot suit. It was really, really interesting.
That was cool.
Yeah. And that was one of my favorite episodes as far as the art design goes. There's a couple of them that really don't connect with me. Like I'm not really into anime very much. So a few of the episodes I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's this style. This was the one where I was like, okay, this is pretty dope.
I really got into it. Yeah.
I loved it. I really did it. I think this is a lot of people's favorite episode was the very first one. They started off with a bang
I liked it too.
The duel was very interesting.
Yeah.
And the artistic style with the black and white ink style of art.
I loved it.
Animation was so cool with the bright red lightsaber that popped. Yeah. It was great. And I think that fight scene was really cool. But I do have a question. I wanted to talk to a fellow Star Wars fan about this episode. The character that we got introduced to who was fighting off the Marauders, was he a Sith? Or was he a Jedi who just had a broken red lightsaber? Because he was collecting red kyber crystals. He was
collecting the red kyber crystals.
Yeah.
I make up my own theories in my head about everything.
Oh, go for it. Go.
Okay. All right. I think he has I think he's a force wielder. He's got force powers. But I don't think that he's a Sith. I think that he's fighting the Sith. But I compared him to right after the Clone Wars when Ahsoka, she's not a Jedi anymore, but she's she's Jedi. And she went into hiding. So I kind of, in my own head, compared him to that, where he's not a Jedi anymore, but he's kind of a Jedi, but he's kind of hiding, and he's just fighting all the Sith Lords that he can find, and, you know, destroys and takes kyber crystals. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find out more about it in the book. And that's
book?
why there is a book.
I did not know this.
Just a couple days ago. You can pre-order it. It's not out yet, but you can pre-order it. It's called Ronin.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's like a complete story of this one character.
Complete story of this one character.
Oh,
I know.
Freaking Lucasfilm knows how to get me. I hate that they do. I hate that they do.
I think I lost you again on audio. Can you still hear me? Hello? Hello? I lost your audio. I can't hear you. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me in the chat?
Hello.
I can hear you. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe my freaking computer is like freaking out. This is the worst thing ever.
Did you ever hear the phrase that Mercury is in retrograde?
No.
Well, Mercury's in retrograde, and everything seems to go wrong when Mercury's in retrograde. So it'll be like that for another few weeks.
I'm glad you guys can hear me. Okay, so tell me, now that you told me your favorite one, while I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my stuff, can you tell me which one was your least favorite and why?
Oh, man. I want to say...
Get salty about it.
TOB1, like Toby.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's like Toby, TOB1, I think it's TOB1.
Okay, yeah, the one with the little robot farmer boy.
Yeah, it's like it's like the story of Pinocchio. Like, come on. Like, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't get into it. I didn't really, the artwork, I can appreciate it, but it wasn't my favorite. I thought the story was lame.
Okay. I think it was very much like, did you ever watch the old cartoon Astro Boy?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
It sounds familiar.
It felt like an episode out of something like that. It was very, very bombastic and silly, and kind of the animation style is very like it's harkens back to Astro Boy, the old cartoon. And I think there was a movie out that came out not too long ago, a couple of years ago now, with I think it was Nicolas Cage was one of the voice actors. But yeah, it's very Astro Boy style. So if you're not into that, completely get it. My least favorite, I think I'm right there with you. Toby's just right there, but the twins.
Really?
Oh, I was like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. He's like outside in outer space, like flying on the edge of an X-wing, and I was just like, this is just.
And
bananas.
they can breathe in outer space.
Yeah, I'm like,
I kind of thought it was neat. I'm like, ooh, this is like evil Leia, you know, like
yeah.
I don't know.
It was real goofy, and I had a hard time understanding like where they came up with this concept where like this guy in basically a Darth Vader costume, but is actually trying to like undermine his sister's actual evil plan. I thought it was kind of like, it was a little bit rushed. I didn't get the motivation for the character, so I had a hard time connecting with them. And just like the fight scenes were so over the top that I just couldn't get into it. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like
Star Wars.
Yeah, it had the Star Wars aesthetic with like the X-Wings and the Star Destroyers and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't feel like it fit
and
into
that,
the universe.
Like dual Star Destroyer type of
with the ring in the middle.
Star Destroyer. I don't know.
Very strange.
That was a little weird. But I kind of liked the part where they were lab created, you know, kind of like, okay, is this something that they're trying to tie into, like, you know, Papa Palps, you know, like I didn't know what they were trying to do with that, but they were created in a lab. So I don't know what they were trying to do there.
Star Wars likes to dabble in that kind of weird, like cloning, you know, that goes back to the Thrawn books and stuff like that, where you get these clones of Luke, or you get the clones of Jaruas Sabayoth, I think was his name.
Sabayoth, yes.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, cloning is like a big part of Star Wars that I don't think gets a lot of attention. Like the movies hint at it, and there's obviously we get the Attack of the Clones, which the Clone Army and stuff like that. But I'm talking like post, like original trilogy era.
Right.
The books and stuff that I grew up with, there wasn't a lot about that, and I think it's something that they could use and make some cool storylines with.
Right.
I've always liked the idea of Luke's. Oh, speaking of, I heard this. Okay, so I hate The Last Jedi. I don't know if you know this about me or not, but
I know, but I don't think many of us like it anyway. So
that's okay. There was a theory that I saw online where they said that the Luke that we see in The Last Jedi was actually a clone, and the real Luke is off with like Baby Yoda doing something else, and there's like some plot that happened with all this stuff. And I was like, they were talking about Thrawn and Ezra being off doing something, and that's why there was a clone Luke. And I'm like, that's very interesting, and I wish it would work, but I don't know if it's ever. I don't know if that movie's going to be salvageable or not. But anyway,
that's like in the same parallel universe where Jar Jar is a Sith Lord, right?
I really like that theory. I really do. It's one of my favorite things. There's an artist rendition. I don't know if I'm sure you guys are all Star Wars geeks. I'm sure you've seen it, but there's a Star Wars artistic rendition of Jar Jar where he just looks straight badass. Yeah, he's got like evil looking eyes, and he's got his hair, his ears are kind of like back in like a weird ponytail. Yeah, and I'm like, this dude's freaking crazy looking. I can't believe it's actually Jar Jar.
Oh, I hated that character so much. Like, just if he would have had any other voice than the voice that he had, I probably would have appreciated him a lot more. But I can't stand that thing.
As George Lucas said himself, he may have gone too far in a few places.
Oh, right.
All right. So the next one I wanted to talk about with somebody, and I'm glad that you're here for it, because I think you might give me a unique perspective on this. Awesome. But Tatooine Rhapsody, the story of a young Jedi Padawan who becomes a rock star.
Right.
I did not like this episode at first, but it's in my head, and it's stuck there, and I keep thinking about it, and I feel like if I watch it again, I'm actually really going to like it. And I don't know what it was about it, but I watched it and I was like, nah, there's not enough freaking Jedi in this movie, in this, cartoon or whatever. There's not enough hack and slash, cool shit. And then it started replaying in my head, and I'm like, there's something more to this. So what did you think about that episode?
I loved it.
You did? Oh,
I loved it. I am the minority when it comes to that episode because not too many people like it, but I loved it. I mean, you think about teenagers, okay? Like Jedi powers aside. Yeah. And what do? Like human teenage boys, everybody wants to have a band, Why can't Jedi kids want to have a band when they're not allowed to be Jedis anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought, who was it? Uncle Jabba. Like, he's going to execute his nephew because he's going to take over the family mob hut business. Like, what's up with that? And it was a little far-fetched that, the kids are going to go in and rescue him. But they wanted to play one show. That was the one thing he kept saying from the beginning is he wants to play one complete show because they can never finish a show because everybody keeps trying to show up to get, I can't remember the little hot boy's name, but
I can't remember either.
I know, right? But he was a hot boy, with a little earring and stuff. So I loved it. And they played the one show, and it was kind of like, cartoony, very cartoony, very anime. And then everybody loved them, and just seeing the stadium again over on Tatooine, that was really cool, And
was it the Bunta Eve Stadium? I think that's what. Yeah. That was really cool, and I liked how they did like a cool 3D animation style for that one particular scene, and the rest of it was hand drawn.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I was like craving when I think about Star Wars. I'm a dude. I'm sorry, but I freaking think lightsabers and lasers and jumping and sword fights, like that's my Star Wars. So this one was a was a little off brand for me. But like I said, like after I watch it, it's still in my head. I still think about that episode more. I think more than I think about the rest of them, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I wonder if there's something to it with the music. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. I think so. There's another episode.
And did you notice that his microphone was actually his lightsaber? Yeah.
Yes, I did. So that kind of hoodwinked me with that, because when he was like, I think when he was going on stage and the guard like stopped him and he's like, "What? It's just a microphone."
Yeah.
I thought after he got done doing the show, he was gonna freaking break that thing out and ignite his lightsaber.
Oh, I was kind of hoping.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for. It didn't go that direction. So.
He's still, Jedi Padawan in hiding. So,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
There was another one that I thought it's kind of underrated. Again, I felt like there might have been something missing out of this one, but it was also a really solid episode. Was The Village Bride? I think this one, out of most of them, had like the strongest story to tell. And I thought it was very classic Seven Samurai, very classic, like,
exactly,
the bad guys are gonna come and a few lone soldiers have to fight them off and save the village. I thought it was really cool, and I think this is probably one of my favorite animation styles out of all 9 episodes.
I loved it.
Yeah, you like that one too?
Yeah, what I especially appreciated was all the Japanese lore that was kind of woven into the story. Like, it felt like Japanese Star Wars, with the tradition of carrying the bride up the mountain. She can't touch the ground. She can't get dirty, and them saying their vows in nature, and, what was it? In front of a waterfall, and then mountains just opened up. I thought it was neat. And then you have the Jedi Apprentice and her master, who are just hiding there, living a life hiding. And, I thought it was neat. I really liked it.
That final little battle where the bad guy was on his ship and he was going to steal the bride. And then like you get that moment where the blaster bolt pauses in midair. And like, I know I kind of crap on the sequel trilogy as well. People should, whatever, it is what it is. But that was one of the freaking coolest moments on Star Wars ever, is when I know it's Kylo Ren, so you got to kind of roll your eyes a little bit. But when he stops the laser bolt, I'm like, I want to see more of that. Please give me more of that. That was freaking cool.
Yeah. And we can't leave out, like, the slutty sister, I want to fight, Can I say that word on your show? I don't know.
Sure,
I didn't go over the rules.
I don't care. I got no rules. So yeah, that was a cool episode, and it captured my attention, and I kind of wanted to see more. I kind of base these off of, like, if I watch this show, would I want to see this same studio play this storyline out and watch more episodes of it? And that one definitely got me, like, I was in. I'm ready to go for that one. And my favorite, I think, besides The Duel, which is the first one, but I think my favorite is The Elder, episode 7. This was freaking... This was when it was a master and a Padawan felt a disturbance in the Force, and they go down to the planet, and they find an old Sith Lord just kind of like roaming around the countryside, and the Padawan, of course, like Padawans do, goes off and tries to fight him by himself and gets freaking owned.
Oh
yeah. This one, I think this one was the freaking coolest one as far as like lore goes. I was into it. I'm like, oh, give me more of that. That was freaking really cool, and I loved the dynamic between the master and apprentice. Really felt like very like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right.
I got that vibe. It was the same character, basically, with the interactions between each other. Like, Obi-Wan's very headstrong. He wants to go in and fight. Qui-Gon Jinn's a bit reserved. So I really liked that episode. What did you think about that one? Do you remember? It seems like you didn't really remember it. Did you?
I don't. It's kind of like fuzzy, and I'm trying to remember, like, what was I texting during that episode? Which is entirely, maybe I was putting up an Instagram post. I don't know. I'm a little bit fuzzy on it, but I don't know. Maybe I just didn't like that one. I don't remember it. I do remember
we're getting stuff in the comments where Rose over here. Hey, what's up, Ro? Red 5 Network Grandpa. What's up, buddy?
Hi, bro.
He says, I feel that episode ended very abruptly, which it kind of did. But I like that final battle scene where obviously the Padawan gets outmatched, and this old creepy looking Sith Lord guy comes at the Padawan and cuts him down real easily, and he like just toying with him, and then the master shows up, and you can tell like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And I love that dynamic with the Sith Lord who's like, "Ooh, you're a powerful Jedi." Oh man, he's like, I wish I would have fought you in my prime. I was like, yes, that's my dude, my freaking dude brain going like, yeah, give me more of
that. Fighting.
Yes, fight lightsabers. I want to go to war. I loved it. So that was a really cool moment for me, and the back and forth between the Sith Master and the Jedi Master. I just thought it was really freaking cool, and that's that was an episode where I'm like, if I just followed these two characters around and they kind of just explored the galaxy, I'm in. That seemed really cool. I like those characters, so I was in for that one. I'm sorry that you didn't remember it though. I'm kind of bummed.
I remember parts of it. Of course I'm going to go over it again. Star Wars nerds. The first time you see it is for the oohs and the ahs, and the second time you see it, you try to study every single little minuscule thing and try to tie it into something. And I don't mean to do that, but I do it.
What is this? So Vader's in the chat right now. He's a big time Funko Pop collector.
Oh,
says, I want to know what Luna's favorite Funko is behind her there. So do you have a favorite Funko Pop?
I do, but I do have to say that I share these with my husband. So, what's mine is mine and what's his is mine kind of thing. And he's probably watching right now. So sorry, honey. Let's see. My favorite. It's a Baby Yoda. Oops. Yeah. There goes an ATST.
Baby Yoda. And Mando?
With the canister.
Oh,
of the eggs.
Oh, the eggs. Okay. I gotcha.
I love Baby Yoda. He's not the most expensive one, that's probably the green chrome Boba Fett that we have up there. But
okay, cool.
I love my Baby Yodas. I have way too many Baby Yodas for a middle-aged woman.
I am not a collector, so this whole like collecting of items is something that I've never explored. It's never been my thing.
Yeah,
I know. Ro tried to get me into it, where he started sending me like Jurassic Park memorabilia to try to get me this. Yeah, dinosaur. I'm a big Jurassic Park nerd, as you can see on my shirt. You can get this shirt on our store, saltynerdstore.com. She dropped she dropped the ATST.
I dropped the ATST.
Oh, there's a good question, because this is my first time actually speaking with you face to face or over the computer, but is it AT-AT or is it AT-AT?
Oh no! I know it's an AT-AT. However, I call it an AT-AT.
How dare you!
I know.
How dare you!
Backyard Tars is going to kick my butt now.
Nick is awesome. I'm an AT-AT guy. I just think it flows a little bit better. AT-AT sounds a little goofy, and it doesn't have that menacing presence for me.
I know.
Thomas, AT-AT. I dig it. Right on. Where were we? Oh yeah, Star Wars Visions. That's right. Let's see what else we got. Oh, this is okay. So this is another episode. Lop and Ocho.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of liked it, but it was weird because it was a bunny. So
that was very, very Japanese.
Yes, that was so. What is it? Kawaii.
I can't remember her name. Lop and Ocho. I think that's the title of the show, which I think is the two daughters' names.
Yeah.
I think this one had like the deepest story to tell. It really had a good moral behind it.
Yes.
About watching a family be torn apart by politics. Basically, if you really think about
that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a fascinating way to tell the story, and I think it's very pertinent for these days to have something like that, which I think is cool. It's coming out of a Japanese studio, so it's not so poignant poignant. How do you say? I'm sorry, I'm drinking. It's not so pointed that it's like
I'm on coffee tonight.
Well, it's like 11 o'clock for you. Look at that baby, another Baby Yoda.
Another Baby Yoda.
It wasn't so pointed to be like, Trump versus Biden or whatever, right versus left. It had like enough of a difference to it where it was like the moral is there, but you can kind of make it your own story. You can apply it to your own life in whatever way you want. So I really liked it. What did you think about that episode?
I love the storyline. Okay. It was just really hard to wrap my head around a rabbit, but seriously, it was definitely very weeby. But I love the storyline, and here the adopted rabbit. It's a rabbit. Come on.
You really can't get over that, kid.
And
there's a fucking rabbit.
Here's this orphan who was adopted by this well-off man, had a sister, instant family. I loved it, and the sister, the full-blooded sister, the not orphan. Where was I going with this? This is we get off track all the time over in the sidebar cantina. The politics, like here the orphan one has a stronger sense of family than the well-established, entitled, that's the word I was looking for, entitled sister. And you see it all the time. Like, you seriously see it in everyday life. It was probably the most relatable of all the stories, except that it was a rabbit. So
visually, you were not on board.
No, not really. Okay. Storyline, excellent. Artwork, excellent. The fact that it's a rabbit, I'm not 5.
Okay. So shout out to Vader, who just bought me coffee tomorrow morning. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Nice.
$1.50 super sticker. He's basically super chatting his own podcast, which is totally cool. Okay, we started a fight. Kelly, in this chat. People are going back and forth between whether it's at or ATAT, and I love that Thomas here says, but then how do you spell ATDP? How is that pronounced? I make the same argument.
Oh, Tom, you're right, though.
I make the same argument for the ATST. I'm like, so if you call an AT-AT, right?
Yes.
Then you have to call an ATST an ATST.
Yeah, and that doesn't. I know it's an ATAT. I do know it's an ATAT, but I call it an AT-AT. But you guys are right. I'm wrong.
All right. There's one more episode of this show. Let's see. It's called Akikiri. I think I'm probably butchering that. It says
Is that Jedi Returns. One?
Yeah, it says a Jedi returns to his forbidden love to help defend her kingdom from the Sith-like shogun. This is the one that ends real dark. I remember
this is the one that I fell asleep to. Okay.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes, I actually fell asleep in. I don't remember the second half of it, or I was dozing off during the second half of it. I can't remember much about that episode at all.
Okay.
So you'll have to tell me about it.
So, gosh, I hope I can remember it. I remember, the only part I remember is the ending, which I guess I don't really remember the build up to this, but I thought it was really bold of them, where they had this character who was a Jedi who was struggling with his feelings. It was very much like an Anakin and Padme type thing.
Right.
And he falls to the dark side in order to rescue the love of his life, just the way
I do remember it.
Just the way Anakin did. And then when he does that, he just gives in to the dark side and he goes off and becomes like a Sith Apprentice.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, dude, that's like, I mean, we've seen that happen with Anakin, but to see it, I guess, done a little bit, I don't want to say, I can't say better. People will shoot me. Just to see it done in this context, I think was very interesting to me. I thought it was very cool. And I appreciated it. Although it was a slow burn. It was very boring. It was boring. I'll just say that. But I appreciated the way that they did the whole like Fallen Jedi thing. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah. I do remember it. Mm-hmm.
And the villain, the Sith Lord chick, that was like super creepy looking.
Yeah.
She was cool. I wanted to see more. Again, I'm like, give me more hack and slash, lightsabers and stuff like that. Jedi's gonna kill me. I'm sorry, Joker's gonna kill me when the next time he sees me. He's like, you terrible person. How dare you?
I do have to agree. I really enjoyed 3. So
I love Star
really
Wars.
Enjoyed it.
I love George Lucas. I am not a prequel fan. I can never pretend to be a prequel fan. I like the concepts. I like the characters, but the story delivery and the final product was just not to par for me. Anakin was so frustrating, especially in 3, where he's like,
really?
What have I done? Darth Vader, I want you to go kill some children. Oh, yeah, totally, bro. Okay.
No problem.
Like, what is happening? It's so crazy. I needed more.
I didn't like Phantom Menace, but I liked Phantom Menace better than the sequels, if that makes any sense. I thought in Attack of the Clones, Anakin is so freaking whiny. Like, no chick wants a guy who's like, oh man, she doesn't even remember who I am. It's like, shut up, you needy.
You've grown too. I mean, like, bro.
No chick wants that, like with those puppy dog eyes, like such a turn off, like ugh.
Yeah.
So where I enjoyed the storyline of the Attack of the Clones. I really couldn't stand Anakin in that one. I kind of liked him better in Revenge of the Sith.
Definitely. Don't get me wrong. He is definitely an improvement upon the second movie as far as like his acting and his personality type goes. I just thought the storyline was a little. It was so abrupt.
Yeah,
that I couldn't really get on board with it, and I understand. You know what I really like about, and I promised Joker that I'll talk about Clone Wars with him when he comes on the show. So I'm gonna reserve some of my thoughts, but I do think that Dave Filoni made the prequels better by making Clone Wars. The Clone Wars improved upon that storyline so much just by filling in the gaps.
Absolutely.
And giving us a context for some of the people's actions, the Jedi, temple, why they did what they did, why Anakin did what he did, why Obi-Wan was kind of stuck in the middle. Dave Filoni is the freaking man. I love that guy.
Yeah.
But I actually
seeing that
Joker, I wouldn't talk about that.
All right. I'll have to try to drink coffee that night and stay up in the live chat that night.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the end of October. I think I have him scheduled for the 25th. So if you guys love, if you want to see Joker's voice, he's going to be on the show on the 25th. We're going to be talking about Clone Wars and stuff like that.
All right.
Okay, so let me see. I'm going to ask you a question that I've had rolling around in my head, and I want to see. This is my theory, and I want to see what you think. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He has Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. We see him take it in episode 1, and he uses it to kill Darth Maul. And then we never see it again.
We never saw it again. You're right.
I would assume, this is my headcanon, I would assume that he kept it as to remember his Jedi Master with. And he would have taken it with him to Tatooine when he went into hiding to take care of Luke. And it would have been in his hut where Luke found his lightsaber and all this stuff. So when Luke lost his lightsaber in Empire Strikes Back, and he has to go and make a new one, he goes to Tatooine, and there's a deleted scene floating around somewhere out there in the ether where he's building a lightsaber, and that's the first reveal that his lightsaber is green. My headcanon tells me that Luke went back to Obi-Wan's hut and found Qui-Gon Jinn's old lightsaber and took the kyber crystal out of it to build his new lightsaber, which is why it's green.
That makes a lot of sense. That totally jives.
I get freaking goosebumps when I think about it because that's the lightsaber that defeats Darth Vader, and I'm just like, that was Qui-Gon Jinn. It's like my headcanon goes freaking crazy with that one.
See, that's what I do. I if I don't know the answer, I make up a story in my head about it.
Yeah, Joker, get out of here with your nonsense. How
Guess
dare
return
you?
to the Jedi Temple. That's not fun.
No, that is no fun at all. It's just
That's
sitting on
fun.
a shelf. Blah. Vader agrees with me. Nope. Anyway. Anyway, I like that theory. I think it's really cool. I think it ties the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy together a little bit more. I think that's freaking cool. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you have headcanon stuff? What's one of your theories where you're like, the movies don't really explain it, but this is what my head tells me happened?
Okay. I actually I have a theory about did you watch Bad Batch? Did you like Bad Batch? You didn't like Bad Batch, did you?
I got about halfway through Bad Batch, and I kind of just lost interest. I didn't know where it was going.
Okay. So it's hard to tell you my theory on Omega.
Okay.
I don't know where you left off, and I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Spoil away.
Okay.
It's not going to bother me. Go ahead.
So you know how Omega is Boba Fett's brother, right?
Yes.
Or Boba Fett's sister. I'm sorry.
Clone female version.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get a clone and turn it whatever. Kaminoans, I guess they.
Yeah, exactly. They could do anything they want. Well, I honestly think, and a lot of people are against this, but I think Omega is going to start showing how she's a force wielder. I really think that. Okay. And I know she's going to turn up eventually, maybe not in the first season of the Book of Fett, maybe in Mandalorian season 4, maybe in Ahsoka, but I think that eventually Omega is going to join up with Captain Rex. Do you remember him?
Yep.
Yeah. So she's going to join up with Captain Rex, and eventually, I don't know if you read the Ahsoka book.
I have it on Audible, but I haven't listened to it yet.
It's good. Okay. There's a couple of slow parts, but it's good. Eventually, Ahsoka's going to come back under the name of Fulcrum. You'll know this because of Rebels. Yep. So I think Omega's going to be with Rex. Ahsoka's going to take Omega under her wing. And I don't know, maybe they might end up with Luke and Baby Yoda.
Okay. So you think she's going to go on to become like another Jedi character in the...
I think so.
Within this new version of Star Wars? Okay.
I think so, but maybe I don't think it's going to happen next year.
Who would they get to play her? Because if she's with Luke and Baby Yoda, then she would be the same age as Tamora Morrison plays Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. Who do you think would fit that as far as like a live action role goes? They'd have to get like a Polynesian, because Tamora Morrison's Polynesian. They would have to get a Polynesian actress who would then be blonde. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, right. I have no idea. No idea.
Okay.
But she has that Kiwi accent too. So I don't know if Polynesian would work. They might have to go and find a blonde from New Zealand or something.
I could do whatever they want. I didn't think we'll polish this up because we're going to finish in about 2 minutes. But I didn't think
Vader doesn't agree with me. Nobody does.
The chat is very active tonight, guys. I love it. I love talking Star Wars. People get all antsy when you talk about Star Wars. It's
right?
Funny. What was I going to say? Crap! I lost my train of thought.
Gen X brain.
Yeah. Elder millennial. Oh crap! Jog my memory. What were we talking about? We were talking about Omega. Oh, okay. So
Omega, who would play her?
Yeah. So as far as live action, taking something from a cartoon and turning it into live action. Mm-hmm. In my heart of hearts, and Ro can attest to this because I argued with him about this for months and months and months. Mm-hmm. I did not believe for a second that they would be able to pull off Ahsoka Tano in live action.
Oh my gosh, neither did I. I was like, Ashley Eckstein's not playing her? Yeah. Like, screw
not
that.
Just that, but just with the giant head dress.
The Montrals.
Yeah, the Montrals, the horns, whatever they want to call them. And I'm not into the technical side of things, but I was just like, it's fine in a cartoon. You can get away with it because you can do animation styles differently. But when Rosie O'Dawson showed up on screen, and it was full on Ahsoka Tano. I was like, damn.
I was in love. I was like, shit.
They shrunk things up a little bit, which I can totally understand, and it didn't bother me at all as far as like being accurate to the cartoon. But I was blown away, and that's kind of what sold me on Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau when they like they're taking over the Star Wars that I like. Like I'm gonna stick with their stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like it's in good hands. So
yeah.
Is there so to polish this off, we got 1 minute left.
Mm-hmm.
What is a project that you are really looking forward to that's coming out as far as like Star Wars goes?
Ahsoka's my girl. Yes. Okay. Oh, I can't wait. And of course, Kenobi, and Mandalorian 3 and the Book of Fett. And
so all of it then.
Basically, yeah. How can you not? Like, this stuff is going to be good. I am so looking forward to next year. We deserve this,
Okay.
We deserve this.
I'm terrified that they're going to screw up Obi-Wan Kenobi because that is my favorite character. And they keep talking about having him fight Vader, and I'm like, you can't do that. It's messing with canon. So I'm terrified.
I know.
Cautiously optimistic. So we'll see what happens. Hashtag deploy the garrison. Yes. Real quick to shout out, if you're in the chat, if you're watching this and you don't check out the Red 5 family, be sure to go to, what is it? Red5network.com, Ro?
Red5network.com.
Red5network.com. Go there. There's a list of 30 plus podcasts. It's all Star Wars content. Plus there's people like me who are a little loopy and we do weird things. And there's a couple of those podcasts out there too. We're kind of the black sheep of the Red 5 network.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
We're the weird ones who don't talk about Star Wars. Anyway.
You do. No, you don't, do you? You guys are still fun. I still love you guys.
This is what we did. I think we burnt ourselves out. So we did last year, or is it in the last May? I can't remember. We did an entire month of May, all Star Wars, dedicated to completely Star Wars stuff. And by the end of May, we were like, I don't ever want to talk about freaking Star Wars again.
Yeah, I did the same thing on Instagram. I'm like, I can't do another Star Wars post. Yeah. I am out of material.
But anyway, shout out to the Red 5 Network. You guys are killing it. Shout out to Ro for creating this network. It's fantastic. We have a ton of fun collaborating. And as always, guys, if you like our content, if you're new to the channel, join the club. You get all of our stuff that you already love in spades. We do 4 extra podcasts every single month. So join up and you get to join the exclusive Discord chat rooms and stuff like that and communicate with everybody. So Kelly, tell me, where can they find your stuff and how can they help support you?
Well, we have a Facebook page, the Sidebar Cantina, which we're kind of straying away from because we have a Discord group, the Sidebar Cantina. You can find us at Sidebar Cantina on Twitter and on Instagram at the Sidebar Cantina. I love Instagram. I am very active. My followers know this. We try to do quizzes every weekend, polls, games. I ask a lot of questions. Instagram followers are amazing. Twitter followers, I'm still new to Twitter, but you guys are amazing too. Discord, we're basically one big happy family in that place.
Yeah, I love Discord. I had a Twitter account. I had like 2,000 sub-on followers. I know Rose probably still mad at me for leaving, but I had to leave Twitter. I was like, it's not for me.
Very dramatic.
And I started a Discord app, and so far I absolutely love it. I think it's a great way of building a community that's very like specific to you, and you can bounce around between different servers if you want to chat with different people. It's really cool. Discord does not suck, Ro. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Ro doesn't get Discord. I understand that, but and I talk to Ro in the Twitterverse. But our Discord is like a big family of mostly 40 somethings that are all like, get off my lawn, and like, but hey, we can curse here, so we're gonna learn it. Can't really do that stuff on Facebook. Too many of our Sidebar Cantina family members keep going to Facebook jail. Honestly, I hate Facebook. It's drama book, so Discord is kind of like the new place where it's at.
It's where the cool kids are, bro.
It's where the cool kids are.
If you guys want to join our saltynerd.discord.com, it's very active now.
You guys are fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun over there. And I do regular video game live streams. Like, I don't do it on YouTube. I do it on Discord apps, and we do watch parties and stuff like that. So it's all public access. If you guys want to come over and join a watch party, ask us when the next one's going to be. We'll find out. And if you have a request, or actually, there's something in my Discord app that nobody's taking advantage of, and I'm a little salty about it. I set up a publicly accessed streaming area where you can literally go on your computer, hop into my channel, and go into my streaming service, and then just like play whatever movie you want and share it with your friends. And nobody uses it.
We're Gen X. I don't think we know how.
Go do it.
I got to get my millennial daughter to teach me how to do this stuff. Come on.
No, anyway, but guys, there's been over 15 people in the chat consistently throughout the whole live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And that's going to be it for us. You guys know where to find us on the socials. And as always, stay salty, my friends. We'll see you guys next time on A Case of the Mondays.
Bye, friends.